Hi, Steve and Caleb with Brownells here. We got a little quick tip for you before hunting season. Caleb, what do you do to get ready for hunting season as far as your firearms concerned?
Well, the thing you don't do is just pull it out the safe right the morning you're going to go hunting and then just expect everything to go good. You're setting yourself up for failure at that point.
That explains a lot.
It explains way more than you know.
So do you take it to your gunsmith like the day before? Is that what you want to do?
That's definitely not what you want to do. If you're going to take it to your gunsmith, plan ahead, at least give yourself at least a month of buffer time.
All right. But assuming there's nothing wrong with the gun, what should you look at before you go out in the woods?
Yeah, so what I like to do whenever I pull the gun out the safe before the morning I'm going to go hunting, not the morning I'm going to go hunting, if it's a bolt action rifle, I'll take it, pull the bolt out, check down the bore, make sure the bore is clean and looks good. I can't tell you how many barrels I've seen blown up because there was a dirt dauber or something weird in there. So that's the first check I do. And you just want to run just an oil patch down it, make sure the bore's clear. Your action screws, make sure your action screws are still snug.
Probably make sure your scope screws are snug too.
Scope screws are snug. If your scope's on your base and you can't get to your base screws, just checking the scope screws themselves will suffice. There's no reason to pull the scope off to check the base screws if the scope's already zeroed.
And look through the scope just in case.
Yep.
Well, as far as rifles go, it's pretty simple, but it's shotgun season too.
Yeah, shotguns.
And there's a lot to look at on a shotgun. You might, if you're shooting a semi-auto, you might want to drop that trigger group and just pour out the old powder and carbon that's accumulated in there, pieces of wad, shot, whatever.
All that junk, choke tubes, the big thing.
Oh, choke tubes. Stuck choke tubes.
Stuck choke tubes. What I recommend is just pulling those out before you put it away for storage.
Yeah.
So
And use choke tube lube on your threads before you put it in there. That way it'll come out if you forget to take it out after season.
Exactly. And allow yourself enough time, whether it be a shotgun or rifle, to get out to the range and put a few rounds down range.
Right.
Make sure, don't just fire one shot, look at it, and say you're good. Fire at least a 3-shot group just to make sure everything's still zeroed and grouping well.
And if you want to stay legal, check and make sure you've got a plug if you're supposed to have one.
Yeah, that's a good one. You don't want to have to break a tree branch off and throw it in there last minute.
A lot of guys have 2-barrel sets for their shotguns. They'll hunt one thing one season and then they'll go in waterfowl or something and have to have a restricted magazine.
Yep.
So it can be a big deal. Gets you in trouble.
A lot of chokes get lost in the process.
Right. I've known guys that had to turn around when they got to their hunting area because they forgot their plug was out and they had it at home.
Yep.
Or they're sticking a stick down in the magazine or something. No, I've had to
Easily
take
avoidable.
those out.
Yeah, easily avoidable.
Okay, so rifles, shotguns, black powder.
Black powder.
Do you really have to unload them after last season? Can you just leave them loaded in the closet and take it out again?
No, that's something that before you put it away for storage, you make sure it's unloaded. And whenever you take it out of storage, drop that rod down there just to make sure you're still unloaded and you didn't have a weird moment when you were putting it up or whatever, and just make sure it's unloaded.
It's easy to forget.
It's easy to forget. It's also easy to double charge. Even
my good customers bring in an inline muzzleloader or something and they'd say, just look it over and make sure it's okay for season. They're doing their due diligence. I say, is it loaded? He said, I don't know. Don't remember. Well, let's find out. And we do it right there at the counter every time, regardless of what he says.
Exactly.
Okay, handgun hunting.
Handgun, yeah. That's a perfectly viable thing. And it's basically the same situation. If you're hunting with a scoped revolver or anything like that, same exact process applies.
Right, and you want to go and re-zero the gun just in case.
Yep.
Working with that load. Don't change your load without sighting it in again. Check your scope if you got a scope mounted on your handgun. Make sure it's still not rattling around or anything. Other than that, if you're shooting like a revolver, make sure the action's working smoothly and properly. If you're shooting semi-auto, which is done more and more these days, long barrel 10 millimeters and stuff, you don't have a heck of a lot to worry about, really. Those things normally run no matter what.
Yeah, and just an overall basic function and safety check, like on your bolt action rifle, cock it, put the safety on, make sure it doesn't fire, and then dry fire it, make sure, all that sounds correctly. It's okay to dry fire it, it's not going to hurt the rifle.
Right. And with any of these guns, when season's over, if it's got a detachable magazine, put the magazine with the gun or someplace where you put your magazines and ammunition, because People lose magazines. They get lost in pickups. They get lost in hunting coat pockets that
Yep.
somebody's cousin borrows. And all of a sudden, hunting season's here. You got no way to make the gun function except as a single shot.
Yep, that's a big one too.
And those are the guys that come screaming in Friday night before season starts saying, you got a magazine for this gun that hasn't been made in 55 years?
I've seen them. I've seen
Yeah.
way too many of them.
Yeah.
And this is all of what we're telling you here is coming from experiences working at a gunsmith shop. This has all happened.
Pretty much, pretty much. So if you're looking forward that much to the hunt, look ahead at what you need to do with your firearm.
And of course, if you have any questions, as always, feel free to give us a call on the tech line or leave a comment down below. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.